Okay, I might just get started today. We've only got one person in today at the moment, but we'll kick off. So thank you. This is the fourth episode in the QBA's Toolbox Talk series. Today you have yours truly. I am independent and flying solo today, providing the update to our QBA members. This is going to be a bit of an around the grounds on what's going on at the moment to bring everyone up to speed. Our next Toolbox Talk series will occur on Friday the 23rd of June, and I welcome everyone to dial in for that one. Again, it will be at 4 p.m. On that Friday afternoon, and the focus particularly of that toolbox is going to really be in relation to getting up to speed with what it's going to take to move down to provide pollination services, particularly to anyone who's planning on covering the almonds this year. So we're hoping to have a number of guest speakers providing an up-to-date and around the grounds for any beekeepers thinking about moving through different jurisdictions. Now, to kick off today, I might start off with the imminent QBA state conference. So our state conference kicks off next Thursday, the 15th of June. And from there, we'll have a full one-day series that we'll run through. I'll give you a quick look at the agenda as well for that particular event that we're holding. We'll continue that through the Friday as well. The special feature about Friday, we're going to have a one-day trade show event that will run simultaneously with our conference schedule. And at that particular trade show, we've got nearly 26 exhibitors in total. So it's a really great opportunity for a lot of our beekeepers, nearly 240 delegates who are attending this event, to get out and mingle with a lot of our trade show sponsors and our annual sponsors, and more so really learn about new product innovations and services to better help your beekeeping operations. From there, we're going to have an annual dinner. Now, apologies for anyone who has potentially missed out, shall I say. Our conference dinner is now sold out. So I am very, very sorry if you haven't secured a ticket. But the conference in total as well, all tickets have settled now. So unfortunately, if you've missed out, there is good news. We will have video recordings of the event that we will take forward and then provide to our members at a later point in time. So if you were fortunate enough to secure a ticket to conference, you'll actually be provided with a link for free to go back and view some of our keynote speaker presentations and things like that. Alternatively, we will look at other means that we can provide those video services, probably at a small cost, to our members and anyone external of our organisation who would like to have a look at them. So wrapping up the 2 days of conference, we're then going to transition into our field day on Saturday, which is set to be a fantastic day. The Toowoomba branch of the QBA will be hosting the field day, and the field day is expected to be a great festival-like atmosphere. Expect to see a lot of beekeeping presentations, Q&A panel talks. Our 2023 keynote speaker, Dr. Cameron Jack from the University of Florida, is going to be in attendance at that particular event. And he'll be speaking on varroa mite in particular, and really giving people a more condensed understanding of varroa, the biology of varroa, and the enemy that we're facing ultimately. Of course, we are completely on board with the varroa mite eradication efforts and really support everything that's being put in place at the moment to make sure that we can eradicate varroa from Australia. So we're hoping that people can come along to the field day. It's a $10 ticket price per adult and anyone over the age of 16. Otherwise, the kids are absolutely free. Along with those presentations, you'll have opportunities to meet with trade suppliers of industry. In addition, we'll have lots and lots of market stalls and plenty of food vendors as well to keep you well fed and watered. So that will wrap up 3 exciting days of beekeeping buzz, pardon the pun, in Toowoomba, and we're absolutely wrapped. Stephanie and I have been working meticulously behind the scenes to be able to deliver a really exciting event for people from any beekeeping background ultimately. And we're quite confident that within the schedule, there's definitely something of interest to everyone. Now, talking about the schedule, I might just really quickly share a quick copy of our imminent agenda. So taking you through session one, we'll be hearing from ARBIC, Danny Lafleur, providing the ARBIC annual update. Dr. Chris Anderson from New South Wales DPI, he will actually be joining us on site with two of his representatives to provide a national varroa mite eradication program update. And then we'll get straight into the morning with Dr. Cameron Jack providing his talk on Varroa Mite 101. So that will really dig a deep dive into understanding Varroa. We'll break for lunch, and after lunch we'll come back and hear from Dr. Ben Oldroyd, who's the current chair of the AgriFutures Australia Honeybee and Pollination Board panel. They'll provide us with an update, and then from the afternoon we're going to roll through with a couple of interesting scientific updates. We'll hear from Dr. Emily Nordick with regards to the Plan B and the National Program update. Cindy from QRite is coming along to talk about the new drought assistance grants, which we've been putting a lot of effort into behind the scenes to make sure that we do have a lot of accessibility for our industry, who is very much a boutique industry when it comes to understanding drought and how we're implicated with drought and the consequences of drought. But we've been doing some work with QWriter behind the scenes to really build a body of evidence and understanding on what tools are necessary to support our industry, and then furthermore connecting those tools with ready drought assistance grants effectively. So that will be one not to be missed. From there, we'll hear about the Varroa Mite Prevention and Preparedness Program update here in Queensland, and Rob Stevens will actually be coming along for that one. Rob is a program manager for the VMPPP in Queensland. So he'll be our man providing the up-to-date on exactly what's going on with the Varroa response in Queensland. From there, we'll hear from Dr. Cooper Shooten with regards to bee biosecurity in Pacific Islands. Particularly interesting as many of our threats are presenting themselves imminently from the Pacific Island countries. Bee biosecurity panel, this is going to be a really great exercise. And the bee biosecurity panel will include Dr. Cameron Jack, who's our keynote speaker, of course. We'll hear from Dr. Emily Nordick, Danny Lafleur, Rob Stevens, and we'll also have Chris Anderson in there from New South Wales DPI. So there is a great body of experts within that panel. And we're really hoping that a lot of our conference delegates will be able to drive really fantastic questions and have some time to think about the presentations earlier in the day and quiz a lot of our experts on that panel. We'll then move into a strategic update from the QBA President, Jacob Stevens, and I will take you through what's been going on operationally in the QBA to bring you up to speed. And then fast forward to Friday, the final day of our conference preparations. So Friday will be another very exciting day. Within Friday, I'll just fix that screen up for everyone. So within Friday, we'll hear again from Dr. Coops in the morning. Coop is going to talk to us about the PALM scheme. So if you are struggling to find people within your beekeeping operation or people to employ, this is a really great means of connecting a lot of people from the Pacific Island nations, bringing them out to Australia and having them work in your operation and learn the art of beekeeping ultimately. The beauty about this relationship is that they can then take the skill set that they've learnt here in Australia and generate some income, obviously, to take back to their island nation home and start building their own beekeeping enterprises, which is really exciting. So Coops will cover off of that one. We'll have Dr. Ben Oldroyd providing a report overview of the independent body of work that was completed to investigate the impacts of bees being in our national park estate and protected areas. Fast forward from there, we're going into session 5, hearing from Dr. Emily Nordick again. Emily actually has a wealth of experience in the Bee Informed Partnership Program, which is currently operational in the US. And this is a really exciting program, as the program actually gives beekeepers skill set and tools to be able to better build bees in their varroic endemic environment. So I'm really looking forward to that one in particular. Dr. Cameron Jack will then come back just before lunch break, and he's going to give us an understanding of what we can learn from the international experience. I think there is a lot of people who has developed an understanding of Varroa from a third-party observational view, and that understanding has been developed on a North American beekeeping environment and maybe what they use. So we're really looking forward to Dr. Jack actually breaking down some of the challenges that they experience over in the US. And for those who aren't aware, Dr. Cameron Jack is actually the associate professor to Dr. Jamie Ellis from the University of Florida. So we are incredibly fortunate to have someone with such vast skill set coming over and presenting to our organisation and our delegation. Dr. Jack also has got a very, very, very deep history and understanding, complex understanding of small hive beetle particularly, and the way that small hive beetle and Varroa intersect. So I think his presentation will be incredibly valuable, and a lot of people will have a lot of information that they can take away and digest from that. Moving on from there, we'll hear from Dr. Madeline Kratz with regards to honeybee nutrition. This is a really exciting project that she's been working on. And then we'll go into honey quality, authentication, and bioactivity. This is a really, really exciting presentation, and Dr. Norell is actually going to be coming out to present that one to us. So she'll actually feature on Thursday and Friday. We'll then wrap up with a quick Q&A panel. That'll encompass most of the speakers from throughout the day, so you'll be able to come back and throw a few questions at them. From there, we'll run our general business to close out our AGM, and then we'll wrap up the day with everyone leaving the auditorium and returning back at 6:30 for our QBA annual dinner. So it will be a fantastic event. If you didn't get tickets, I'm sorry. You're really missing out on a fantastic conference, but please, if you've got the means to do so, head on up to Toowoomba on the Saturday, and you won't be disappointed by turning up for the field day. So that should be really, really exciting. Sorry there, John, I'll just mute you. We've got a little bit of background noise. So that is a wrap of the Queensland Conference. If you've never been to one before, I would strongly suggest that next year you do make an effort to get along. We'll be making an announcement at the end of our conference with regards to our location for our 2024 event. So it is a fantastic opportunity. Definitely QBA conferences give you the opportunity to mingle with like-minded beekeepers. For new people in the industry, it's a really great opportunity as well to connect with mentors. There's a lot of experience. I think I added it up some years ago, and it equated to more than 12,000 years of experience within our QBA membership, taking our average age of a member around about 50 years of age. So there is so much to be accomplished and achieved by making sure that you use these opportunities to connect with industry, but also gives you that footstep and doorstep opening into the different trade services that we supply. So that's basically a wrap of conference. Yes, if you can see the bags underneath my eyes, Steph and I have been pulling some extraordinary hours at the moment to deliver this conference, and we know that it's going to be a really, really great event for everyone coming along. So I will now transition really quickly into the Varroa mite update. Just before I do, we've got quite a few people on board now. Does anyone have any questions at all, or you got any dying questions at all about what to expect at the field day maybe? I'll take that as a no. Okay, so from there, guys, I'm going to take you through really quickly through the current Varroa mite update. So this is basically the dashboard results that I receive generally on a weekly basis. And this is information that's collated from the week's data that is input into the B123 app. So first and foremost, I would like to say if you haven't gotten out there and tested your colonies, please do so. We need every beekeeper across Queensland actively looking for Varroa. and reporting all of their results. Now, particularly as we've emphasised for weeks and weeks and weeks as a part of these toolboxes, it's really important that your negative data, so in other words, if you've completed your tests and you obviously haven't found anything, we want to see that reported, because what that does is it gives us an overall understanding geographically of where varroa may have been tested for in the state of Queensland. So it gives us a better level of confidence that people are out there looking for it. Because, of course, if you're not looking for it, ultimately, if something does end up popping up, you're not going to know how long you've had it for. But also, it's the old COVID question, similar to that scenario. It's the first case of varroa that we want to pick up, not the 23rd or the 24th. So please, if you're having any trouble with getting on board with doing your varroa testing, ring me, email me. Alternatively, you can also go through and ring the call centre at DAF on 13 25 23. Alternatively, you can also email our Bee Biosecurity Officer, Dave Shapalius. He's more than happy to help you through on actually completing your reports itself. Otherwise, always ask another beekeeper in the state. So, there's always someone who's probably already done these reports. If you're migratory and moving around, it's really, really critical that you are doing your reporting and making sure that you've got that frequency of testing that you can pull records on at any one given time. We are very confident that varroa is contained to that red and purple zone effectively. So they're doing a lot of surveillance within those purple zones to really build the understanding of the containment lines at the moment. And the last couple of pop-ups, we have had around about 6 in the past fortnight. I have to emphasize that a lot of those pop-ups are related to areas that are just on the border zone of those red zones. And particularly when they've found those new locations or the new infected premises, there's been very, very, very low mite readings in them. So what that is telling us is that the remaining colonies that are left that are being surveyed at the moment, and these are a lot of the colonies that we've only just picked up on and understood that there is varroa mite within these slightly marginalised increasing zones in New South Wales. We're finding very low mite population numbers. So it's giving us the confidence that we have got it contained, and then we can start moving more solidly forward into that wild European honeybee baiting program. So to roll back to Queensland, we've been going fairly well and tracking fairly well. So we're now at 814 surveys completed. Now that number is since the start of the program. So that was since the 8th of July 2022. It's always difficult to remember these dates. But the 814 surveys that we have had completed, in total, we've had 10,622 hives that have actually been surveyed. Involved in that, you can see that we've got that distribution of recreational beekeepers. So that's taking up 486 reports. And then 323 reports have been from our commercial guys. So please continue to get on board. Everyone who has a beehive has an obligation to be testing for varroa. So please make sure that you're getting out there and looking for it. Furthermore to that, so we're now currently sitting at 162 applications received for biosecurity instrument permit. If you've missed our QBA Toolbox talks over the last couple of weeks, the biosecurity instrument permit is the entry point to allow live honeybees to come into Queensland. Now, going on track at the moment, we're on about 15,000 colonies that have actually come into Queensland since the 21st of April. So there really is that priority that, please, if you're out there looking, and if you're in some of these zones where you're suddenly seeing a lot of bee movements coming in, it's probably giving you that safety and reassurance to be looking for varroa as well. So make sure that you are. But as you can see, we've had 131 permits issued since the 21st of April, and a total of 11 permits have been declined and 20 are currently under evaluation at the moment. Now, just furthermore to that, Something that's really interesting with regards to the permit program, a lot of people have contacted me with concern that beekeepers are moving in with these permits, and what is going on post permit issue. Now, I can commit to that the government has got a very strong compliance program in place at the moment. We did have some officers that went to far western Queensland in the past week. There has been some surveys conducted and some compliance checks completed. But moving forward, I would say and reiterate to everyone, expect the unexpected. So you'll never know where the biosecurity compliance staff will step up and pop up at any given time. So if you have recently moved into Queensland, or you've got beekeepers around you that have moved into Queensland, have comfort that there is a very strong and robust compliance program happening in the background. So that gives you a weekly wrap up of exactly where we are at the moment. And I might just quickly step back in time a little bit, because I think it could be interesting for a lot of people that are online with me now to have a look at what the numbers were before we started the relaunch of the varroa mite surveillance campaign. So if we go back to Thursday, the 30th of March, and I'm using that basically as our D-Day at the moment. Now, the D-Day in particular was when we decided to refresh our results. So if we go back to then, you can see that we've gotten up to 519 surveys that were completed at that point in time. And we had a total then of 5,302 hives checked. So if we're remembering that the key data that we're looking for is 15,000 hives that are checked using alcohol wash and drone uncapping, and we're looking for 15,000 hives being checked every 16 weeks. So when we fast forward those figures, so remembering that we had 5,302 checked at the end of March, fast forward to today, sorry for everyone, so we've got 10,000. So we're a third of the way there. It's still a long way to go. We've got room for improvement. If I was a coach for the beekeepers of Queensland, I would be saying to everyone, we've reached a quarter time at the moment in the last couple of weeks. Now it's time to have a refresh. Obviously, given the current weather events, it's been a little bit cold. It's a little bit rainy here in Queensland. So as soon as we move forward in the next couple of weeks and we do start seeing those sort of drier days coming through, the wind's backing off a little bit, please use those opportunities to get out and go and actively look for varroa and make sure that you conduct your surveillance and then very quickly report that information into the system. Once you've reported your information into the system as well, you will be provided with an email of your report, and that can be actually kept on file so that if you ever need to pull that information out in the future, i.e. if you're moving through and migrating through different states, or just as a part of your general biosecurity obligation for record keeping, you've got that ability to supply that information. I have received a lot of phone calls of late with regards to people who are interested in selling colonies of bees, or from the flip side, people who are purchasing colonies of bees. And there is a lot of interest there from people who are buying colonies to be able to see that data. So if you are looking at selling some of your hives, make sure that you have done those checks, because that is something that there is a growing appetite to make sure that people have been meeting their thresholds for testing. To go back, I'm not going to sing for you because it's too late on a Friday afternoon, but every April, August and November, they're your months that you need to remember when it comes to varroa mite testing. For anyone who's coming along to the QBA conference, you're going to get a physical reminder of that. I have organised and designed some A4 fridge magnets that have got a great calendar of events, keeping you informed what things that you need to be aware of in each of the calendar months of the year. And then I've put a little note area on next to it, so that can be something handy you can keep on the fridge as a reminder, because we all know that we all subconsciously look at the front of the fridge, and that can be a great indication when you're making your morning cup of tea or your cup of coffee. Maybe you're grabbing the butter from the fridge to get some toast and honey organised together. You're seeing that as a constant reminder. So I'm really excited that everyone's going to get one of those magnets. Now, moving forward, we do hope to see that a lot of people will be getting on board in the next couple of weeks, particularly anyone who is going to almonds. I must stress and emphasize that you need to have your records all sorted out. You need to make sure that you've got records of testing also in place, because the authorities, particularly those in Victoria, will be looking for that information. And if the evidence that you're providing doesn't marry up to the dots, you will be asked to supply further evidence. So please make sure that you're spending some time. If we are getting some cooler days and it's a little overcast and we're not out beekeeping or we're not in the shed, that you're using that time to get your books in order. Moving forward, the Toolbox talk on the 23rd will be really emphasizing the movement to almonds. So I would strongly suggest that anyone who is considering going to Victoria to provide pollination this year, you make an effort to dial in, because I will ensure that we have got guests. I am hoping to get a representative from Agriculture Victoria, as well as New South Wales DPI and our great friends over at Queensland Biosecurity, so that we'll have those 3 state jurisdictions there to allow you to throw some questions at and provide an overview and an update of what you should expect to see if you're planning to travel. Now, to give some clarity, we are awaiting further information from South Australia at the moment. South Australia have maintained a very hard border closure since the detection of Varroa, and we're still yet to see any results from them with regards to a permitting system or conditions or anything like that. So we're still a little bit unbeknownst about what we could potentially be looking at if they are planning to open the borders in time for almonds, because there is a lot of interest, shall I say, from almond brokers and a lot of almond producers in South Australia. I know that they are starting to reach out, particularly to a lot of our guys here in Queensland. But at the moment, I would just say to everyone, if you're moving, make sure that you have a plan A and a plan B. So make sure that you've got a backup option. If you're choosing South Australia, we're really not sure, and I'm not entirely confident if we're going to have everything in place with regards to border permits and things like that. So make sure you're making sensible risk evaluations about where you're going to go and what you're going to do. But apart from that, I think that's pretty much the weekly wrap and around the grounds. I noticed that Paul Reed, he's one of our executives, has just actually joined us. But I'd like to open the floor now. If anyone's got any questions at all, if there's anything that has been on the back of your mind that you'd like to throw at me, you can test me if you want. Yes, Paul, feel free, go ahead. You know how this works. You'll just have to unmute yourself, Paul.
I hit the button inadvertently.
Okay. How are you?
Oh, just back from a trip down the Gold Coast.
Lovely, lovely. So have you got a question for me, Paul?
No, I don't. I'm just logging in to see what's going.
Oh, see what's going on. No worries. It's always good to have an executive of the QBA checking in on their state secretary. So has anyone else got any other questions, any burning issues that you'd like to bring to my attention at all? The floor is yours. Not seeing too much activity there. Okay, guys. Well, I'll just leave you for a few more short moments to have a think if you've got any questions that you'd like to bring to my attention. Just in the meantime, what I might do is just give everyone a quick overview. Something that is a feature of being a member of the Queensland Beekeepers Association. Hi, Bano. Can I just get you to take your camera off for the moment for me? There's how Bano takes his camera off. Okay, I'll just take everyone really quickly through the Queensland Beekeepers Association members website. So Where can you find the QBA members website? Firstly, the easiest place to go into is members.qbabs.org.au. Alternatively, you can actually also access that area by going to the Queensland Beekeepers Association website. So if you actually land in this area here, you'll be able to click on the membership buttons, and that will actually take you through to our QBA membership area. So fast forwarding from there, we've got a lot that goes on within our membership website. There is a lot of content that I continue to upload all the time. So quite often, a lot of our questions can actually be answered through the members website. There's a lot of great links for you to access as well. And if you've got any suggestions of content that you would like to see, please send me an email, and Steph and I will endeavour to get the relevant information and get it uploaded for you ASAP. But within our members website, you've obviously got our home area, which takes you through beekeeping clubs in Queensland. So this is where people can go through and learn who is their local beekeeping club and how to get in contact with them. We've got an acknowledgement there for our sponsors that is being changed over the weekend. QBA very proudly has been able to secure $36,000 in annual sponsorship this year, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. That sponsorship will really help drive a lot of our initiatives that we've got that we want to focus on in 2023 moving forward. From there, we've got our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our YouTube handle as well. Within our events area, this is actually where you can go to find information very quickly about what events we've got going on and how you can join in on them. So as you can see, if you scroll over the top, you'll actually see that you've got the last fortnight's Toolbox Talks, this fortnight's Toolbox Talks, our AGM, our Toowoomba Field Day, Toolbox Talks for the 23rd, and again for the 7th of July. Now, just as an example, if I click on the 2023 QBA Toowoomba Field Day, you'll get information there on what to expect at that field day. And if you're interested, you can actually click there to register. Now, that's not actually buying an online ticket. It's more so giving our QBA Toowoomba team members more information on who they can expect to turn up on the day. So that's where you'll find our events. We've also got our members area. So this area here in particular is password protected. So you will need to log in to be able to see and access that area. Alternatively, flipping forward, we've also got our industry updates area. The industry updates covers a lot of information. So we try our best to keep up to date with ARBIC news, ARBIC newsletters, BeeQual news, any bee-related stories that have actually been published and produced in the media. So we do try to keep that updated as much as we possibly can. But obviously, as you can appreciate, beekeeping is often in the headlines. So we'll get started on that again and focused on those topics. But that's a really, really great area for you to come into and have a little bit of a look at what's going on. Then what I want to draw everyone's attention to is the Varroa Mite portal. I'll just wait for my very laggy internet to catch up. So the Varroa Mite portal is a public page that we've developed. And the information contained within this page is your go-to effectively for anything with regards to Varroa Mite, where we're at in Queensland. If you can see here, we publish a weekly update. That's what I'll actually be doing later on this afternoon, as a weekly update from Biosecurity Queensland for the past week. You can go into these blog posts and you can then actually click on the link, and the link will provide you with my weekly chapter update and give you all of the information that you need to know to stay across the prevention and preparedness program here in Queensland, and also a little bit of an overview of what's happening in New South Wales. So please make sure that you are using these resources, because we do put in a lot of time and effort to keeping them up to date. I can back out of that area in particular. And if you scroll down the very long list, and there is a lot of updates in there, you can also access a few of the social media channels as well that are publishing content with regards to beekeeping and particularly biosecurity. So you've got the Queensland Beekeepers page, Biosecurity Queensland, New South Wales DPI, and ARBIC. Other resources that you can click on is the Be Aware page. Professional beekeepers, I really can't stress this enough. That is a fantastic tool set for all beekeepers. You should go in and visit their page very regularly to see what new topics that they're actually covering. It is a fantastic resource for beekeepers right across the length and breadth of the country. And then in addition to that, we've also got a lot of the up-to-date content and video material as well. So if you are seeing a day that you are implicated by the weather events that's going on, this is a really great area for you to check in and see what's actually going on with regards to tutorials and active information. So that's basically it for that page itself. But please, I do encourage you to get in and utilise those services. If there is information that you would like to see included within the web page, please reach out to us and let us know. It often only takes a little bit of work to consolidate the information and publish it for you. So everyone's had a bit of a chance to have a think. Does anyone have any questions before I wrap up this Friday afternoon? Everyone remains silent. I can see our Vice President, Brad, is actually online. Brad, do you want to say anything before we wrap up?
Sorry, Joe. I only just logged in. I missed most of it.
Oh, okay.
Apologies are up.
No worries at all. All right, team. Well, thank you so much for joining me. There will be a slight delay in getting a couple of videos. The last QBA Toolbox talk, the video file decided, the recording that I had taken, decided to give me a little bit of a challenge, to be honest. So yours truly is the person responsible for editing all of that footage and getting it up online. So giving conscious credit that we have got conference on the next few days, and we're doing everything in our power to deliver that. You'll probably see these QBA, been a long day, QBA Toolbox talks probably go up that week after conference, in the time that I get to come back to office and really check in and have a bit of a reset. But until then, thank you so much for your ongoing support. We will continue to do these videos and live and interactive sessions. So please encourage your fellow beekeepers and QBA members to dial in. It is a new means of getting information to you, but also giving you that platform to regularly engage with us. So again, set your diary, Friday afternoon, 23rd of June at 4 p.m. Oh, Brad, throw a question out.
Joe, just wondering, you might have already covered it.
Yep.
At the field day, I'm guessing we're going to have the DPI there doing some talks. It'll cover some Varroa stuff and that as well.
Yes, absolutely,
Have
absolutely.
we got any other information talks happening there?
Yes, so we will. The Toowoomba branch are just literally consolidating that speaking agenda at the moment, but they're working on an 8:30 start for the field day. And I believe around about 9 o'clock in the morning, you'll hear the first presentation. They're actually doing one specifically on honeybee husbandry, and I think there will be a little element there of queen rearing and getting in some experts to talk on that. Moving forward, they're going to be talking bees and education, and what services are actually available. And then to wrap out the day, we're going to have a very, very big program with regards to biosecurity. So we plan to have Dave Shapalius, the Queensland BBO, speaking first. We'll have Chris Anderson, Dr. Chris Anderson, who's actually the coordinator of the National Varroa Mite Response Eradication Program. So Chris will actually be providing an overview to everyone there. And then we're going to wrap up with Dr. Cameron Jack doing a more detailed dive into understanding Varroa 101, and what we should expect, and to give us his perspective of the very fortunate situation that we find ourselves in, compared comparatively to what has happened internationally in the world. Believe it or not, Dr. Jack has never been out to Australia before. He's never actually even seen honeybee hives free from varroa. So on Tuesday of next week, we are literally picking him up off of the airplane, and we're very quickly taking him out to a beautiful apiary site up on the Sunshine Coast, and we're going to be showing him through what it looks to have somewhat healthy honeybee hives. So we're really excited to do that, and I'm quite sure that from his experience there, he'll be able to really shed some light, I suppose, on how fortunate we are, and probably moving forward the position that we're in to be able to eradicate varroa from Australia and continue to protect our freedoms, I suppose. So. But yeah, Brad, it's a good point to make. There is a lot of content there at the field day, and there's plenty of exhibitors as well coming along. I believe that the market stall count is up to around about 57, and that includes beekeeping trade suppliers, but also moving into market stalls and arts and craft and things like that. But I think that the Toowoomba branch are doing a remarkable job at coordinating that particular event. So please make sure that you pop on over on Saturday. Come up from Brisbane, come and have a look. It should be a great event. Any other questions at all? No, well, I think that's it. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for those who threw a message in the chat. It is absolutely my pleasure to bring you this information once a fortnight to keep you abreast. And if there's any topics that you'd really like to see us cover, please shoot me an email and let me know. But yeah, hopefully moving forward, if the new QBA executive after our AGM is satisfied with the engagement from our members, I do hope to be able to evolve this series into more detailed and strategic series. So moving forward, it won't just be all about the varroa response. I do plan to get a lot of the scientific community and the network of contacts that we've got, as well as government support services and things like that, to bring in their perspective and services that they offer, or educational insight, and to be able to bring you more relevant beekeeping topics that are interesting to you. So anyway, thanks everyone. Have a wonderful Friday afternoon. If you're going to Toowoomba, pack your warm clothes. It is set to be damn cold next week, but otherwise stay healthy, stay safe, and be passionate about our industry. I certainly am. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.